Hi, Assalamualaikum, and we are from Group 5. So today we will present about the logistic management in supply chain management.
Hi, my name is Nurshahira Buhari and I will present about the introduction logistic management in supply chain management. The planning, coordination, and control of the transportation of goods and services from the point of origin to the point of consumption are the responsibilities of logistic management. An essential component of supply chain management, it is a process that makes certain the appropriate item is delivered to the appropriate location at the appropriate time, at the appropriate cost. The purpose of logistic management is to minimize the expenses associated with transportation, inventory management, and warehousing while maximizing the efficiency with which goods and services may be moved to fulfill the requirements of customers. The entails a wide variety of tasks such as the administration of transportation and inventory, as well as warehousing and distributions, fulfillment of orders. A successful implementation of logistic management calls for close cooperation and coordination among the many participants in the supply chain, including wholesalers, producers, distributors, retailers, and end users of the products. In addition to this, it entails the application of technology and data analytics with the goal of enhancing overall supply chain efficiency, lowering lead times, and improving visibility. Management of logistics plays an essential part in guarantee customer happiness, as prompt and correct delivery in one of the primary factors that contribute to consumer loyalty. It also helps reduce expenses, which improve inventory management and enhances the general efficiency of the supply chain, all of which contribute to the overall performance of the firm. The pandemic caused by COVID-19 has had a substantial effect on the logistic management that is involved in supply chain management. The process of planning, coordinating, and controlling the movement of products and services from their site of origin to their point of consumption is an essential part of the logistic management process. Because of the pandemic, the flow of products and services has been impeded, which has had a domino impact on the entire supply chain. The following is a list of some of the ways that COVID-19 has impacted logistic management within supply chain management. The first one is lockdowns and other limitations on mobility have led to substantial disruption in transportation, which were caused by such disturbances. Because of this, it has become challenging for businesses to transport their goods and services from one location to another, which has resulted in increasing prices and delays. And the second one is demand for last mile. Delivery has increased as a result of people opting to spend more time at home, which has led to an increase in the number of consumers interested in receiving product and service deliveries at their homes. Because of this, logistic companies are experiencing strain, which has resulted in higher costs and longer lead times. For the third one is, the epidemic has produced a shift in distribution method, with more businesses shifting towards e-commerce and direct-to-consumer sales. This change in distribution channels in the result of the pandemic. Because of this, logistical tactics has to be revised, and businesses have been forced to adjust to the new distribution routes. For the fourth one is increased application of technology. The pandemic has hastened the process of incorporating technology into the management of logistic operations. Technology have become increasingly necessary for businesses since it is the only way to enable remote work, track shipments, and connect with the customer. For the last but not least, concentrate on safety and hygiene. The pandemic brought to the light the critical role that safety and hygiene play in the management of logistical operations. Companies have been forced to implement new safety protocols such as contactless delivery and increased sanitization in order to protect both their employees and their consumer from potential hazards. In broad terms, the COVID-19 pandemic has brought to light from important agility and resilience are in the management of logistical operations. Companies who have been able to quickly adjust to the changing circumstances and incorporate new strategies and technology have been able to keep their operations going and continue to satisfy the needs of their customer.
So I will explain about definition, which is logistic management is important for business in order to maintain profit, build customer loyalty, and reduce cost and waste. It is in charge of transporting and sorting information, goods, and services from its point of origin to its final destination. Logisticians are in charge of meeting the needs of customers while also facilitating in the implementation of the delivery strategy. The ability to coordinate resources to ensure timely delivery and use of material can make or break a business. So there have 7 R of logistic management. So logistic management requires the effective design, execution, monitoring, and control of the step required to transform the goods or services from the raw material to the final delivered product. Anyone working in the logistic should have a basic understanding of the 7 right because they aid in the efficiency and optimization. These right don't necessarily exist in any order, and the company is free to arrange them. However, it sees fit based on its priorities. It might give the proper product priority, or perhaps another aspect is more crucial. So for the first R is the right product, which is logistician must understand precisely what kind of the product they must deliver to their target customer. These products are typically in high demand and well designed to make packaging and transportation as efficient as possible. It should investigate potential issues with our chosen product, which is a defect damage during transportation. For the second R is the right customer. The customer is at the heart of logistic operation. It's critical to identify the target audience and raise awareness of the product and services available to this customer. This is frequently necessitate market research and the acquisition of leads to ensure that the products are sold in the appropriate market. For the third R is the right condition. Customers should receive their product in a good condition, with no damage or defect. Logisticians are responsible for ensuring the product are shipped in a good condition and properly packaged. This right requires consistency. For the fourth R is the right quantity. Quantity is important in logistics because it is necessary to control the correct amount of the goods. Logisticians collaborate with distribution and production departments to ensure that the correct quantity of goods is delivered to the customer. This is the right way to meet demand while avoiding overproduction, which leads to waste. The fifth R, which is the right place. Manager can create the robust delivery system that includes location tracking so that both customer and provider can track the exact location of the product have been delivered to the correct location. The product demand may vary depending on the geography, demography, and the other factor. It is necessary to understand the exact location that is needs to be targeted through the extensive market research. A certain area may not have demand for the product while the other may not care at all. It is important that the right product is sent to the right place. Supply chain manager must ensure that they have efficient and experienced delivery personnel to ensure that the product is delivered to the correct location. Following the selection of the location, it is critical to select distribution strategy that will meet the demand without oversupplying or undersupplying the product at any given point. So the next R is the right time. Time is an important factor in logistics. Even if everything else in the process is done correctly, if the timing is off, the entire process is failed. It must have the product on the shelf or in the stock at the right time to meet demand. If the demand is not met at the right time, the product may be lost to competition. Customer satisfaction and long-term relationship can only be achieved if products are delivered to customers on time. Managers are responsible to developing a tracking system and coordinating with the delivery team to ensure that the item and delivered on time. For the last one is the right cost. Pricing is a very important. However, the price of the product can have a major effect on the company profit or losses. To determine reasonable prices, logisticians analyze industry dynamic and market demand. They also keep track of costs and ensure that goods are sold at an appropriate price point on the regular basis. In general, logistics aim to deliver the appropriate product to the appropriate customer in the appropriate condition and quantity at the appropriate time, location, and cost.
So next, I'll be talking about inbound versus outbound logistics. So the main responsibility of inbound logistics is moving raw materials, supplies, or finished product into a supply chain. On the other hand, outbound logistics exclusively focuses on moving finished product out of a supply chain, that is getting out of storage, completing orders, and delivering those orders to final consumers. So next, the function of logistics. So first, the procurement of goods. It happens when a consumer places an order with a supplier. So during the process of ordering, it involves checking product availability, finalizing price, and describing delivery items. And second, in inventory control. So this keeps enough items available to ensure it meets the demand of customers, meanwhile maintaining a low carrying cost. So the main goal here is to manage the goods that already have. And third, warehousing. These activities related to receiving, storing, and shipping materials to and from production or distribution location. So this is where warehousing functions keep the storage of products in a good condition until they are sold. And moreover, packaging is a very critical phase that needs to be done properly before the product leaves the warehouse for delivery to customers. So it addresses damage protection, material handling, and storage space consideration to guarantee that goods are delivered to customers efficiently. And furthermore, transportation is occasionally considered as the most fundamental component to logistics, considering it transfers goods from supplier to buyer and from the buyer to customers through air, road, water, and pipeline. And lastly, reverse logistics is a way to handle the return, reuse, recycle, or disposal of product that make the reverse journey from the customers to the supplier. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
So next I will explain about the logistic value proposition. So the granted or company delivery to its client about the anticipated value of the logistic function is known as the logistic value proposition. It should meet the customer expectation and provide a cost benefit analysis for the organization as well. To achieve customer satisfaction at the lowest total cost, logistics are typically managed as an integrated effort. As a result, service and cost minimums are two critical components of logistic value proposition. Logistic value proposition manager must be able to balance logistic costs against to the appreciate level of customer service. To fulfill customer demands, logistic has the same objective as supply chain management. So they have two key element in logistic value proposition. First one is service. So service to stick deadline, most business must pay exorbitant rate for overnight shipping. Like that, any degree of logistic service is achievable provided the business is prepared and ready to pay for it. Therefore, technology is a not limiting constraint for logistics. For most organization is it economic. For instance, the overall cost of sustaining high level of service, if a company can have a fleet or vehicle in condition of continued delivery, red line, or hold and inventory, especially for high volume client that can be sent within minutes of receiving an order. Therefore, the company must determine if the money was wisely spent. Next, for the cost minimalization. So the entire cost of logistics should be considered when interpreting the second component of the value proposition, cost reduction. The concept of the total cost of logistics is the idea that logistic relation that provide equal level of service should favor the option that minimize the total of logistical cost and not be used and on cost reduction in one area only, such as lower transportation charges. So next part is logistics goal. The first one is the respond rapidly to change in the market or customer order. So being aware and able to act fast in response to expected market development make the difference between providing exceptional and truly subpar customer service. As an example, one of Suez Canal was blocked. Several logistics service providers had to move rapidly to find an alternative means of transportation to satisfy the needs of their client on schedule. Several of them swiftly turned to air freight and were successful in doing so. Next part is minimize variance in logistics service, because there are further now when company effectively limit their variation in logistics service, company will be able to forecast and make decision more accurately. When it comes to planning, it helps a lot. In addition, it allows business to work better or more effectively. Next is minimize inventory to reduce costs. So storing more stuff mean paying more for storage. There are fine line between having enough inventory to meet demand and having too much inventory eating into your profit due to storage expenses, which is why important to have enough inventory to meet customer demand. Finding the ideal balance in this situation is important, and you can do that by using the right inventory strategy and monitoring system for demand forecasting. Next is consolidate product movement by grouping shipment. In instant, merging many smaller shipment into one largest cargo is what a product consolidation entails. As a result, the unit cost of transportation will be reduced, and you will be able to move more things with less resources, which will help you cut down on your carbon footprint. A number of shippers can combine their inventory, and the combined cargo can then be offered to carriers to fill container. By doing this, carriers and shippers may develop stronger ties and even long-lasting relation. And the last one is maintain high quality and engage in continuous improvement. Company can guarantee their customer needs are always addressed by maintaining high service standard. Repeat business will result from this, which can further extend the company reputation and source of income. When it comes to continuous improvement, this is again related to the right performance, and by improving consistently, company will create more value for their user. Thanks.
So hi, my name is Raja Lemazah binti Raja Berisham. So today I would like to explain about logistic strategies in supply chain management. So as you guys know, an effective logistic management strategy will depend upon the following tactics. There are 5 lists given. So I will explain one by one. Okay, so the first one is coordinating function to create maximum value for the customer. The field of logistics may be thought of as a system with interconnected and interdependent pieces. So from this angle, each system improvement must be made fully conscious of how it may affect other system components. However, prior to the development of contemporary logistic management, the numerous activities involved in the transfer of products were often divided into several departments or divisions, such as traffic department. So each sector was managed independently and had its own set of technique and methods. So next is integrating the supply chains. So when building the logistic network, integrating the supply chain necessitates a number of processes. The following list arrange the process in a logical sequence. However, in a dynamic system, action may be performed out of order and then again and again in an effort to achieve quality improvement. Next is substituting information for inventory. So physical inventory can be replaced by better information in the following way, which is improvement communication, talk with suppliers regularly and discuss plans with them. Next is collaborate with supplier, use HT to coordinate deliveries from suppliers, remove absolute inventory, use continuous improvement tools and share observation about trends. Track inventory precisely is also important to track the exact allocation of inventory using barcodes and or RFID with GPS. Lastly, to keep inventory in transit, it is possible to reduce system-wide inventory costs by keeping inventory in transit. So one method of keeping inventory in motion for the maximum amount of time is distribution strategy called cross-docking. So used with particular users such as by Walmart, cross-docking involves moving incoming shipments directly across the dock to the outward bound carriers. So the inventory transfer may literally never be at the rest in the warehouse. So reducing supply chain partners to an effective minimum numbers, which is companies should be aware of the effectiveness trade-off when lowering the number of logistic partners, even if in general, doing so might increase efficiency to find a level that can be complicated without all of the manufacturing or wholesale warehouse if all, at all feasible, and chain is more complex and expensive to manage the more partners there are. So delivery between partners is time and money consuming. So carrying greater inventory result from having more partners, operating expenses, cycle duration, and also inventory holding costs can all be decreased by reducing the number of partners. So there are some button bonds stored below, which is it will exacerbate issues rather than resolve them. Okay, so the last one is pooling risk by concentrating goods in centralized warehouse. Pooling risk is a technique for inventory management that lower stock outs as supply chain transition is just in time ordering practices and hold less safety stock at each node. So the risk of stock outs rises. So the danger of stock outs increase if buying suppress expectations, since every organization is trying to keep inventory expenses low in this way. So according to statistics, the total inventory required to maintain a level of service decrease when inventory is stored in a central warehouse as opposed to multiply smaller warehouse without raising the danger of stock out. So any one customer's unusually big order will still be limited in comparison to the entire quantity available. So that's all for me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for the previous presenter. I'm Muhammad Alif-Hakim Ibn Haris, and I will present about the substituting information for inventory. One of the tactics used to design effective logistic strategies. It may be taken out of sequence and repeated identifiably in pursuit of quality improvement. The following list arrange the stage logically. Step 1. Located in the right countries. Logistics and the supply chains involve a lot of complicated tasks that need the best strategic decisions to work well and efficiently. Logistic managers have a lot of stress because their field is always changing. All activities need to be changed and made better by management. The location of facilities is a key part of the supply chain, has a big effect on how well many logistic tasks work. Location for logistics involve a lot of different things, like where factories, assembly site, and distribution center are. The location of the logistic is a big part of how well logistic networks works. Step 2. Develop an effective import-export strategy. Find out the total freight volumes and the number of stock keeping units that are associated with import and export. Choose the best location to store merchandise to achieve your strategic goals. This may entail selecting which border to cross and which to avoid when importing and exporting product, as well as deciding where commodities should be housed in relations to consumers. Next is step 3. Select warehouse location. Warehouse are highly significant connection in the network of supply chain, whether the market in question is local or worldwide. The position of the warehouse in the network of the supply chains influence the efficiency and speed of the supply chain. At this point in time, the primary areas of competition amongst supply chain are the length of time it takes to complete an order and the total price of the goods. The acceleration of material movement within supply chain is happened along by the activities involved in warehouse management. Step 4. Select transportation modes and carriers. Transportation made by truck, ship, train, and aeroplane are the basic modes of the transportation used in logistics. These modes are sometimes referred to as a road, marine, rail, and air shipment. While every one of these methods of transportation has its own set of advantage, it takes some serious deliberation to determine which of these option is best for the company. The many modes of transportation used in the logistics are discussed along with the potential advantage and disadvantage of using each mode. In addition to the availability of an additional shipping choice known as intermodal transportation. Step 5. Select the right number of partner. Choose the bare minimum of firms to handle forward and reverse logistics, including providers, third-party logistic providers, and fourth-party logistic providers. While choosing the logistic partner, it is important to take into consideration their familiarity with the local market and laws. And lastly, step 6, develop state-of-the-art information system. Reduce inventory expenses by monitoring demand and the location of item more precisely and quickly. It may be challenging in certain areas to develop cutting-edge information system. In such case, describing the producers and information flow become even more crucial. And another tactic used to design the effective logistic strategy, physical inventory can be replaced by better information in the following ways. First is improve communication. Talk with supplier on frequent basis and go through your ideas with them. Good communication is one of the cornerstone to maintaining a successful supply chain. Yet it is sometimes disregarded until it becomes a problem with changing supplier behavior and purchasing habits. More competition and globally disrupt supply chain. Efficient communication between companies and their suppliers is more important than ever. Next is collaborate with supplier. Use HT to keep track of what supplier are sending and when. Get rid of the old stuff. Use tool for continuous improvement and talk about trend you see. Supplier collaboration is a strategic approach to managing supplier that involve aligning suppliers and partners around the business strategy to reach key goals and create value for both sides. Suppliers collaboration, when done right, lets a company give back exponentially more value to the business by using the untapped value in its extent supplier ecosystem. Then third is keep inventory in transit. Costs can be cut across the whole system if inventory is kept in transit. Cross-docking is disruption strategies that helps keep as much inventory moving as possible for as long as possible. Cross-docking is a strategy that has worked well for Walmart. It involves moving incoming shipment right across the dock to carrier going out. The transferred item may never stop moving around in the warehouse. Another place where cross-docking is used is in the airline business. If a person is going from the Seattle to New York, they might have changing train in Chicago. Instead of having direct flight from city to city, the airline has set up its network this way. People are not really kept in warehouse. Instead, they move through the airport in an hour to getting off on plane and getting on another. At the end of the day, the airport and all the other cross-docking sites should be empty. A trailer, a train, a car, a bus can be true of a small bay warehouse. GPS should be used to keep close eye on rolling inventory so that change can be made quickly if a shipment is late or loose, or if a customer change in order at the last minute. And last, use postponement center. Set up postponement center to delay product assembly until a real order comes in. This will keep warehouse from being full of the wrong kinds of finished good. Postponement is first used in the manufacturing process to lower the cost of inventory, to improve customer service as the number of product grows. The idea behind postponement is to put off change in form, identity and location as long as possible until customer have agreed to them. By taking advantage of how similar things are, and by making the production and distribution process so that the point of differentiation is put off as long as possible. That's all from me. Thank you. I will pass for the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Nur Eliana Muhammad Saleh. Now my pleasure to continue present about reducing supply chain, the effective number, pooling risk, and the flow of goods and information. So, we will go deeply one by one. Firstly is reducing supply chain partner. It means the company decrease the total amount of their supplier, which means the supplier will only in a small quantity. Why company need to do this? It is because they want to focusing more on particular supplier that will give them more satisfaction service to company rather than have a lot of supplier but it's not give any specialized and also difficult and expensive to manage. Meaning to say, if this particular company not having so many supplier, automatically they can improving the quality and customer satisfaction in terms of each other service. And of course, by we focusing only at one primary, we will value them and specialize them in increasing the resources of works. Secondly is about a pooling risk. Pooling risk is generally a risk prevention tool. In a simple way, it's meant by the system that provide to reduce the demand of variability from the supply chain. Why we doing that? It is because to reduce the possibility of risk of running out of stock and also to reduce inventory stock. But how the pooling risk operate is by the supplier need to open the branches in the several area that could be hotspot and also high demand, but still need one place as warehouse to keep all the stock of branches. The purpose in doing that is to make sure the branches always in status of safety stock. Safety stock is defined as where your stock always meet the average of customer demand. Besides, the other purpose is to neutralize the high demand in certain area because there are many choice of store that offer it rather than one. Other than that, the benefit from this concept is easier way to any firm to negotiate with a reasonable price with the branches to get their attention. Thirdly is about a flow of goods and flow of information. So basically, both of these are included in internal process that related between the supplier and customer. It's very important in order to both parties get the same direction and understanding. Okay, firstly is flow of physical goods. It's meant by the process of goods itself, delivery to the customer without any problem. For example, arrive by the set time and all condition of product is good. Secondly is flows of information or management of information. As we know, information is all about data. For example, bills, description, ordering data, and so on. So this particular process is need the cooperation and communication between in order to avoid misunderstanding. If that happen, it will impact the all of process between the supplier and the customer. I think that's all from me. Now I'll pass to next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, so to conclude everything for our presentation is basically the elements involved in logistics are vital for effectively controlling the movement and storage of information, products and services from producers to end users. These elements include transportation, storage, warehousing, information management, and coordination among companies and customers and the intermediaries. And also, by optimizing these aspects, logistics can would be enabled would allow businesses to meet customers' demands efficiently and deliver products and services in a timely manner. So we also believe that logistics is an important link in the supply chain, as it facilitates the movement of goods from the suppliers to manufacturers, and then to sellers or distributors, and eventually to the end consumer or buyers. Recommendation and opinions. First, we would like to recommend the implementation of sustainable logistics, where a company or a logistic management can implement eco-friendly practices to reduce environmental impact in transportation, warehousing, and packaging. And then the second one is leverage digital solutions, which are to utilize technology such as AI and automation to enhance efficiency and visibility in logistic operations. And then let's move to provide employees with adequate training. What we meant is that companies should empower, a company and a logistic management should empower employees with the necessary skills and knowledge to improve productivity and adapt to changing industry trends. And also, what we mean by observe leading competitors is the management should stay updated and on industry best practices and benchmark against top performers to identify areas of improvements. And also, the last one, leverage pool distribution, is the collaboration with partners to consolidate shipments, optimize routes, and reduce costs while maintaining service levels.